much said, I'm in too deep. Waters I tread can't catch my breath. A shadow chasing me, a game of hide and seek. Found they'll have a
All right, we are live. Welcome everyone to another edition of Deconversion Stories, and today chatting with my friend Phil here, who is executive producer and a member of the Skeptic Haven, and also his Linktree is below to all the believe in reality stuff.
Believe in reality, as if it's real.
As if it's real. That's right. believe in all the fake news. No, but Phil, first of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Don't mind me, I'm just pulling all my hair out.
That's okay. I just did that half an hour ago trying to get my mic to work. But I'm going to sit still now. This thing's invisible too. Look at this. I don't know why, but whatever. We're just going to leave it there.
Green screen. That's why.
I thought about it, but there's no green light on it, so whatever.
Before you guys say it in the chat, I already thought about it, and I didn't want to ruin my microphone.
Ruin your microphone?
I was gonna paint mine green.
That would be kind of cool. Do it on purpose. That's an interesting idea.
But I would ruin it, and I just can't ruin it for the gag.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
Yeah,
you always buy another one,
man. They probably sell green ones.
But it would look weird because it wouldn't be you behind it. It would be the background. So that'd be freaky.
Maybe I'll just get some vinyl, a little sticky vinyl. Then I can peel it off.
Painter's tape.
We're almost Halloween, so we got to do that. We need some floating head stuff going on.
Yeah, there you go.
So, you do this for the whole show.
Let me go get my green tuxedo. I'll be right back.
Okay.
You have a green tuxedo?
No.
I bet it's lime green too, right?
If I did have one, you bet your sweet ass it would be.
All right. Well, what we do here, Phil, we chat with folks about how they found their way free from their previous belief systems. And today we're also going to talk about your believe in reality stuff and how you are the executive producer for the Skeptic Haven stuff as well. So basically just start out with the story and take us on that journey, my friend.
Just a real quick clarification first, because on a couple episodes back, you said I was running Skeptic Haven, and it's not me. It's not just me. It's Wes and Kat the Humanist. So there's three of us, and we'll get to that bit of the story.
Yeah, but they're not on the show right now.
Yeah, but Wes is the heart and soul of this thing. So
that's fair. Wes is a busy guy. And hi, Kat. I see you.
Yeah, Wes is a real busy guy. So, okay, I'm going to take you back. I grew up in...
Wes is the oil to the machine.
No, I think Wes is the machine. He's kind of a force of nature that never stops. He's like a shark kind of a thing. I'm going to ignore the comments. That way I won't get distracted.
Yeah.
You can close them off,
Yeah.
If I see something that I'll bring it up. As you can here on
yeah. Anyway, so I grew up in Buffalo, New York. Did a weird back and forth to California when I was 9 for 3 years, and then back to Buffalo. And then,
what was that all about?
That was the weather. My sister, I have a younger sister who used to get pneumonia or bronchitis every year, and sometimes pneumonia. And my parents decided to move to a warmer climate.
Right.
So they came out here, and it was just, it's like, oh, California, wonderful place to be. And then it was just like fires and floods and earthquakes. And
God hates California.
Yeah, they ran back screaming 3 years later. So then I went to high school over there. So it's a Catholic family, and on both sides, and it was one of those, I think that's fairly typical Catholic family, in that you don't read your Bible. You don't, I went to Sunday school, and they teach you the happy stories, right? I never read the Bible. My mom never read the Bible. My dad never read the Bible. You just
But
go
you had
and
them, right? You had Bibles, right?
I had a little one that was like, I don't even know if it was a full Bible, honestly, because it was so small. It was like about maybe half an inch. So maybe it's just the New Testament or something. I just
maybe.
remember having it for years and having like the prayer beads in it, which was, I thought was kind of fun, but never used them. So
At least not what you were supposed to for, right?
yeah, just the lassoing squirrels part. Yeah, I did that. Sure.
Yeah.
I gotta keep my hands down because they're freaking me out that they keep disappearing. Okay.
Aliens.
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 He's like, ooh. Anyways, so it was
From above.
so it was the you go to church every Sunday, you listen to the priest, and he gives it's so boring Catholic ceremonies because it's so structured and repetitious, right?
Mhm.
Did you
And-
guys have like Sunday school for the kids, or do the kids sit in mass?
I always went to Sunday. Well, I always went to mass. Yeah, there was a side room for kids and stuff, but I don't remember ever going there. And I think the Sunday school we went to, Sunday school was on Saturday or something like that, or
Oh,
maybe
that's
it was maybe it
That's
was
messed
after.
up.
Yeah, so I remember one of the most bored times of my life was sitting through mass, because you're a kid and it's just not interesting.
Yeah, it's painful.
Yeah, and it was just like, why are these people here and why do they keep talking and how do they keep knowing what to say
Right.
next and stuff, and it just goes on and on and on.
I just want to go play.
Yeah, but that's just kid stuff. So we went every week, and then we started to go less, and but just out of parental laziness, honestly. But we went to all the holidays and everything. Generally, we went once a week. Queens,
Yeah.
cool.
Everybody drink. Oh, there's another one.
Oh, this could get difficult. My speech will start to slur. Well, I remember when I was.
Yeah. So anyways,
so at some point, and I want to say early teens, I started to listen a little bit to what they were saying, and I do remember liking the sermons in the middle of the whole structure. The structure, it's like once you know the structure, it's not interesting anymore, right? Because it's just the same thing. But the sermons I thought were kind of interesting, because it's little stories, right, from the Bible and lessons that you're supposed to take from it, lessons for living better and whatever else. That's about all I remember of it. But jump up a couple years forward when have heard the stuff a lot, and I noticed that it seemed like they were giving the same lessons year after year. It's like I was wondering if they were on a pattern or something. That's obviously they always gave the Easter lesson or whatever that was. And I started to pay more attention to the stories, and stuff started to strike me as kind of peculiar. I wish I had a little better memory of what exactly was striking me as odd, but it started to sound like it really didn't kind of mean anything.
Right.
It was odd. And at some point, it was some of the stuff was not making sense, and that was registering. So I stopped. I told my parents I was not going to go to church anymore when I was about 16 or so. Wish I could say I did that at 10, but no, not one of those. And I just stopped going. And I thought about it on my own over time and figured that it was my problem. I figured I was missing something. I wasn't understanding something.
Right.
Maybe I needed more life or whatever at that point. So I put it aside, and they didn't give me a big fuss about it. So it wasn't that big a deal. And that's about the time that I went off to college a couple of years later. And I used to go to church. I used to visit church near school, near USC. at the time, and it was a kind of a nice place to go for like relaxation. It was quiet, and the architecture is nice, and the colored glass and things like that. And I would go there and just kind of, I want to say, meditate more than pray, because I didn't really pray because I still wasn't to the point where it made any sense. But I'd never really pursued it for quite a while. I remember, this is coming back to me now, I remember wanting to ask a priest about it, spend some time talking to a priest, and I never quite got up the guts to do it. But
really? Like, you felt were they like kind of unapproachable, or?
No, I have an anxiety issue. I have social phobias and stuff, and that was an early piece of it. And through that and busyness at school and whatever, I just never got to it. I wanted to, and I wish I had. Maybe this road would have taken flower a whole lot earlier, but I didn't. So I'll jump us ahead again now. So it was just like, this thing doesn't make sense. It still doesn't make sense, and I went on with life. A number of years later, I got married. I had kids, and I got involved in Cub Scouts for the kids.
Cool.
And Cub Scouts
I was a Cub Scout.
It's a fun thing to do. I hate to see some of the crap that they've been going through, because it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
I lasted 2 weeks.
Did you really? Did they kick you out, or did you go, no, I don't have the patience? Or
The first time was cool. The second time, that's kind of one of these. And my stepdad's like, get your coat. And I'm like, yep, that's what I thought. There was some unusual behavior in that piece, and we did not understand what was going on. So it was time to go.
Oh, I think we need to interview you about that sometime, because there's some interesting
I only got one incident because, like I said.
But I honestly can't imagine if they could do that would be that bad. But okay, story for another day, I guess.
Save it for the after party. Tune in next.
When I was a kid, we did. I was in Scouts for a year, literally a year, as a kid, and then one of those early moves interrupted it, and they never put me back into it. So I really enjoyed wanting to put my kids into it and go back into it. But the thing about the Scouts is that they're God-based, right? They're not religious per se, but it is a pro God thing. And
yeah, of course. I mean, when it started, everyone was a believer, right? Back in those days. Well, not everyone, but you know what I mean. Like, it was common to be a believer, so it was just incorporated in.
Yeah, but it felt like there was a little more to it than that. I mean, it was like, you can kind of look at it as it's good for your character building. It's also good to reinforce a religious belief in general,
Sure,
particularly Christianity. Because I remember I had a Jewish parent when I was a leader who was concerned that it was not going to be inclusive for them. So I had to make sure that we did their songs and things too. But the God stuff, I was not comfortable with at this point. So I pretty much ran the thing. I did it for 4 years without any God mention that I could possibly do. I sort of evaded and left it out as much as I possibly could, except for some of the mandatory stuff. And then I would, we would never do prayers, and we never do religious songs. So I got my little tweak in there to keep people from thinking of this as a religious event, Mm-hmm. So even though when we got into Boy Scouts, we actually did hold our meetings at a church, but so, couple years forward from that, I'm a pharmacist by trade, but I was interested in film production. Not related, but I was.
Hey, I'm a chemist and also did film school. So
did you really? Oh,
yeah,
would have loved to have gone to film school.
I'm an actor, and I'm really a chemist. No, I don't. I was trying to.
I can do acting too. I did a lot of acting in my youth as well, but I took low budget filmmaking because I wanted to make shitty zombie movies, but that never came to fruition.
Oh, I made one of those. Well, I'll tell you about that in a
Dude,
second.
that's awesome.
Oh boy.
Philly just went up a whole other level.
Yeah,
Buckle up, everybody.
You got the D&D, and then you got the horror film, and then I'm a pharmacist and whatever. So it's been an odd life. So I got involved with there was an independent producer who was working on his own, and he had no money and stuff, and I actually paired up with him. And the fact that I had no background and he would pair up with me shows you the capability of both of us at that point in life. But we struggled at that for a few years and finally quit after not making any money. But the point of that piece of the story is that he was very religious.
Oh.
And we spent a fair amount of time in this office we had rented and had side chats and stuff. And we almost got into a struggle because he wanted to do a children's show.
A fist fight?
Well, no, I mean a
Oh.
breakup. It would have been a breakup. We're not fighters, neither of us. He wanted to do a children's show. Yeah, it's like, I'm paying the rent. Get out. So maybe one of those. And I would have done a kid show. I was interested in any kind of production really, but I didn't want to do anything religious. And it was through the conversations with him that things started to rev up in my mind about how inappropriate it was, I thought, to be that to put religion that dominantly into children's programming.
Right. You're that VeggieTales.
Yeah.
VeggieTales. Looking at you.
That's
Cucumber
right.
bitch.
And what's that other one with the little dog that's got like the Gumby type characters?
Oh, you're talking about Davy and Goliath?
Davy and Goliath.
Yeah, that's the other one.
Oh,
You get this nice little story, and then you have to get the lesson at the end of it.
They do. They also do. On Adult Swim or whatever, they did that Moral Oral, which was like a kind of a spoof of the Davy and Goliath, but without the dog.
I've never seen it. I've heard of that show. Matter of fact,
Oh, it's
I know
funny.
I know a guy who worked on that.
It's
But
very funny.
yeah, I'll have to watch it sometime. But that was really the start of when I was starting to become anti-religious or really concerned about it. He had a friend who was extremely religious, and he had this sign on his car that says, "You're not saved by works, but by grace." It's like, well, that's like the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. It's like, no matter what you do in life, you're it's up to
screwed.
somebody else, It's like, so then why be good? I mean, where's that? That's a terrible moral lesson for anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's
But
good?
I thought there's another quote in there that says that that by works is okay. Isn't there like a reverse of that somewhere?
I'm not one who knows the Bible that well, so but that sounds familiar. That I've heard other people talk about that.
It's like a faith without works is dead, or something to that effect. Like
you're
supposed to be doing that shit. Yeah,
So a typical.
You gotta have
Bible
an out
stuff
for
where
either
it's-
way,
where it's contradictory and you cherry
Yeah.
pick whatever you want. So
Depends on who
Yeah.
you're talking to. That's which one
Yeah.
you use.
So, at this point, I was getting pretty anti-religious, anti-God, but realized that if I was going to be this way, it needed to be proper, because it was just like I was just picking up on all these things over the years that was just like, that kind of doesn't make sense, and that kind of doesn't make sense. So why are people understanding this way? Why are they being religious and the Bible's true and all this other stuff? So I figured, okay, it's time for me to read the damn Bible. So I sat down and spent 9 months reading the thing all the way through and in some detail, and it was just like, it's very life-changing at that point. I mean, literally, when I finished the last bit of it, I got on Facebook and I changed my profile to Atheist.
Oh.
It's like, the stuff that happens in the Bible, it all happens in a small geographic area. You know, it is written exactly as if people who lived in that time and day would have written a religious text. You know, I mean, if you take out the sticks turning to snakes and donkeys talking stuff, if you can toss that aside without believing it for no other particular reason, it's just a book of its time, you know, written by people just like 100 other religious books of other religions, thousands of religions. So I became a pretty strong atheist at that point, and joined a couple of local meetup groups. And okay, is that what? Why is there a sound without the coin sign? Okay, I'm just trying to get the method here.
No, every time Neil gets a notification, the coin sound goes off, and then it was going off all the time during the interview, so we made a drinking game out of it.
Oh, all right. I'm used to that from being on Oz's show. So, so I joined a local group, and it was an older group because at the time I was living in Idlewild, and that was an interesting experience because they were very much. Oh, stop it!
Sorry,
it's okay. They were very
it's
much.
not me doing it.
Yeah.
It's I'm getting notifications for fucking Twitter and YouTube, and
I have to watch some comments then afterwards. We're doing this. So it was interesting to be with the. At that point, I was a little bit younger. I was about 50, and this group was older just because that's who lived in the area. It's in Palm Springs was the closest to me. But that frustrated me because they really just wanted to sort of go and debate among themselves. And that was fine. And we all sort of do some of that. And we all kind of enjoy a piece of that, at least at certain times in our deconversions or our change of minds or whatever. But I was really wanting to get out there and interact with people and start to do something at an activist level, because these people were literally teaching things that were not true, you know. And I'm a very science-based person, you know, chemistry, physics, and everything. And that was that was really bothering me. So I got involved in basically I joined every meetup group I could find within like 30 miles. And
Dang.
Yeah, that was about 2013, I want to say at this point.
The before times.
The before times where we could actually sit there and touch each other's fingers.
You had to shake hands to be hands with strangers to get to know them.
And not get out there and spritz them afterwards, you know, with their alcohol bottles.
Or do the elbow thing.
The elbow
I put
thing.
a foot out. Like, hey man, what's up? Just stick your foot out, and then they kick your foot, and then there you go.
Oh God, what a life! What a world change it's been, huh?
Foot bump.
Yeah, the poor children are probably going to grow up like, oh, this is how we greet a stranger. Hello, stranger, and they just stick their foot out.
So
yeah,
That's all they saw.
So that was how when I started in getting into activism, by getting active in those groups. But I want to back up a bit here now, because I was, after I read the Bible, kind of unrelated. Well, it was unrelated in terms of time. Something different happened in 2008. That's when Obama got elected, and something changed in society, right? It was just like, you know, it's like it's a post-racist country, but there's a black guy in the White House. Oh my God,
I can't take it.
I can't take it anymore. And I remember when he was elected, I was so thrilled. I actually went down to the Democratic, the Democratic local party meeting or party actually of when the election was going to be announced, and I just wanted to be in the room because I voted for him. I was very much in support of him, and it was a thrill to be there. I was real happy about it. But then obviously things just started to turn. The rebound, the kickback to him and being in office was something we've never seen before, right? You remember that we've had people disliking Reagan, and depending on how old you are, disliking George W. Bush and everything like that. But this was something new, and the summer of 2009. If people will recall, or if they don't, every summer Congress goes out in August, and they're supposed to go home to their towns and join up with their constituents and read the temperature and stuff. And so there were these town hall meetings, which at the time the big issue was whether or not to pass health care, and conservatives were not debating the issue. They were going in and screaming down these meetings and shutting them down, not letting any discussion happen as a tactic. And I'd never seen anything like this before. And it was.
Can they do that?
They did.
Wow.
I mean, they literally they would just scream, and meeting after meeting after meeting was shut down because they wouldn't stop. They wouldn't let anybody talk. They wouldn't debate. They had to shut down a lot of meetings all over the country. So that on top of the religious. So now we're mixing religion and politics, but that putting those things together really bothered me because I didn't understand. I didn't understand on the religious side how people could believe something that was so fanciful. Things don't happen in real life. People don't come back from the dead. And how people could be so extreme in politics, or to be more specific, how people can come to a completely contrary and opposite decision given the same information. So I started to study. I started to read and read and read and read and read. And did that for quite some time. I think I'm up to around 250 books at this point. And it became obvious after maybe about 50 books or so that the issue was not religion per se. It was, or even conservative ideology. It was about belief. It was the core of this really seemed to be how people come to belief. So that became the center of my study. And I continued to read and read and read. And that's when I put together Believe in Reality. I was looking for a name. I put up a website, started to do a blog, and with the group I was with in Riverside at the time, the Riverside Atheists and Freethinkers, RAFT, they would put on monthly meetings. They would have speakers out. Seth would come out. Aaron Ra would come out back in those days. It was great. They'd come out every year. Kind of a tour. After a couple of years, I had learned enough that I started to do presentations on why rational people believe irrational things. I started to get a handle on some of that. And it has kind of gone on from there to the point where this is what I choose to do with basically the rest of my days, to, push science. I wish I had a little more time to do a little more study of the psychology of it. I have somewhat of a handle on it, but there's so much research going on these days that there's a lot more to learn. I did actually start to write a book on it. I planned on doing this for years and years and years, but it was taking so damn long because I'm a terrible procrastinator, which I'm sure nobody can relate to. So
I had a joke about that, but I'll just tell you later.
Yeah, okay. Or not. Procrastinators Club meeting has been canceled again.
I'm sure you all understand.
Yeah.
Just put it off for a couple days.
Yeah. So I at least for now, maybe I'll get to it someday. I don't know. It depends on time and everything. But I decided, at least for the moment, that for now that I would get more done, get more out into the world, if you will, that by being sort of an enabler and a supporter of people like you and also all sorts of content creators that and that's kind of what I'm still doing, and now with Skeptic Haven, it's even a little more centralized. So,
right on. I think it's great that what you do there, and appreciate all the support from anyone who wants to help support everything that we do here for the channel.
Yeah, we need as many voices as we can. As far as I can see, this is really a non-competitive arena, because, I mean, the number of churches that are out there, the church in every corner kind of thing, and more in some areas, and people who go to these weekly plus sermons and meetings and youth groups and everything else, they're getting the biblical readings reinforced week after week after week. So number one, we need a lot more people doing this than we have now, and I'd like to see major groups in every state of the union. And there's no problem with repeating content too. When I started to do the believe in reality thing, and I'll tell you about that in a second, but it's just like, well, we can't do this topic. I've already done that topic. But after a while, it was just like, it occurred to me that, we need the repetition. And it doesn't matter that Seth talked about this particular thing. That doesn't mean that we can't talk about it on another show down the road.
Right.
And on top of that,
Seth was actually a reason that I started doing this, because he would do an episode like this every once in a while on his show.
Yeah, that's right.
And I was intrigued as fuck by them, so I decided, what I'm going to do. I'm going to, dedicate it all so people can hear these stories, and hopefully it helps someone. And I get emails all the time now, so it does help people.
It should, yeah, exactly. I mean, you've seen it, you've done it. There's always a couple things. Any of us, and some more than others, but any of us, when we watch video content or podcast content, we tend to go to like the newest stuff, what's out this week, what's out today kind of thing. So to some degree, the older stuff tends to go away. So we need a refresh of new content all the time. And so we need it coming from multiple voices, and we need it reinforced. I mean, I remember when Dawkins was big and saying things like, if people only understood, the science or whatever, that they would get it, and education's the answer. And we have come to find out, both through people like him doing educating and it not working, and the psychological research that has gone on in the last few decades, that it's about more than that. You want to get down to studying about or talking about why people believe things. It's a lot more than what you tell
epistemology,
the information itself. There's a lot of resistance to learning things. So
yeah, and I don't understand that.
I hope to get some of that information out more. If I'm more busy with Skeptic Haven, but I do want pieces of that out. It's a complex, multifactorial issue, and
it is.
Yeah, I don't want to get into it here because that's just sort of it's a big topic for a different show kind of thing.
Yeah,
but yeah, you're right. Most of us don't understand it. And I still don't think we understand it completely. And we certainly don't understand how to reverse it or how to counteract it. the closest we have is how to talk somebody out of being in a cult, right?
Mhm.
We've got a little bit of that, but one of the look at Steve Hassan, who was in these. He's got a new book out. I can't think of the name of it, but I think about the Trump era cults. And one of the things that struck me about reading his book was that you had to isolate people from the source of what was influencing them, and that's essentially impossible to do these days.
Yep.
So, and
especially if they have one of these.
And you can find and you can reinforce any belief you want. And
that's the problem.
Yeah,
right? These guys go online. They have this idea in their head or belief in their head, and they go online and they find people that will help make that belief more concrete. Because, well, this guy's actually an expert, and he believes what I believe, so this guy's got to be right. And then he finds contradictory stuff online, and well, he claims to be an expert, but I don't know. My expert's more expert, or it's just it becomes like a whole Dunning-Kruger fucking festivity. Is what it becomes, right? So, and then they just get more solidified in their beliefs that way.
I am a fifth level Google Fu master. I know all the answers.
What are the Scientology levels? The higher levels of
Super Laser Lotus 63.
Super Laser. I like the way they keep coming up with new ones. It's just like we have 10 levels or OT levels or whatever they're called, and it's like, well, we've had too many hit the top, so we've got to add 5 more, and of course the price goes up for that training too. So
of course.
And it's Revelation, Well, I think it's Revelation with them. I don't know how they do it.
They don't know either. I'm making it up as I go.
That's literally true.
Thanks, Ken.
That is literally true. So
don't feel bad about making up things. They are too.
Yeah. Okay, so the believe in reality. Let's get back to that for a second, because I skipped over that a little bit. So
yeah, no, let's get into that, because I want to know what that's all about and how you decided to start that up.
So that was, again, part of the irritation of listening to creation science and some of the logic painful. And stuff. So it's just please, people, just believe if you're going to believe anything, how about trying to believe what's actually real? So so I came up with that name, and I did a series for about it was actually about 19 months, I think. And I did a series of podcast live events for the local group and also for the online. So I have a YouTube station called Believe in Reality, and actually a second YouTube station that started first, named after this event, which was with the very inconvenient name of Believers and Non-Believers in Discussion. Just a very literal, straight name. Didn't think about marketing or anything. So it's just, very long, but
gets the point across.
Gets the point across, but So what I did is I would I'd come up with a topic, and I would invite 2 theists, well, believers, because it wasn't always theists. We had actually a ghost show and a paranormal show once.
Cool.
That was kind of cool.
Did you guys catch the last episode of Bandbid? Oh, Bandbid's hot, man.
Bandbid? I don't know Bandbid. What is Bandbid?
Believers and non-believers in discussion.
Oh, Bandbid. I should have used that at the time. It's it's too long, so we got to go with Bandbid. Welcome to Bandbid episode 6. Just by that, you have no idea what we're talking about.
B and BD.
I'm still trying to figure out exactly how Dave's brain works, so I apologize.
I was doing the same thing in my head, and I looked up and David fucking chatted. I was like, yes, Dave.
That's a good thought. That's a good thought. Yes. He's like, how can you make it better?
Bandbid.
So, you make it better by not using that damn name, but
choosing anything else.
There's a YouTube channel out there, Believers and Non-Believers in Discussion. And I eventually I changed it to Believers in Reality, but that still exists on its own. So all my followers are on the believers and non-believers. I would like to get them on to believe in reality because I still haven't captured that YouTube name. So if anybody sees that or wants to watch that stuff, please subscribe to the Believe in Reality channel. So the events,
go and sub.
Yes, the events it was 2 believers, 2 non-believers, and then sometimes me in the middle as a moderator and sometimes other people. And we would go for about an hour and a half and have civil discussions. It was pretty much all civil, except for maybe one episode. And we'd also do a Q&A, and that's online also now at Believe in Reality. And sometimes it felt like we had stuff unfinished, so we did sort of a side series called Afterwards, where we'd sort of rehash or go through unanswered questions or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So all that lasted for a little less than 2 years, but it was, as anybody who runs stuff now knows, it's really hard to get guests. This was in the, I know it's not pre-internet, but it was before COVID. So, we did a lot more local events, right, than we did everything online kind of thing. It's like the ACA used to be, if you were going to be on an ACA show, you had to be in Austin, right?
Right.
And now it's from COVID on, it's you can be
except for
anywhere.
Truth Wanted. Dan was like, "Yeah, we'll just do it. We can all be in studio, and our guests can be from wherever the fuck they are." Because I've been on Truth Wanted a few times, so
yeah,
and Talk Heathen as well. So still got to do the AXP one of these days.
I think there might be a seat, so you'll get a shot. You'll get a turn.
Yes, I'm not Matt though.
So. Well, nobody is, and congratulations for. Maybe that's not the word. A shout out to Matt for just all the work and the years he has done. I mean, his Atheist Debates series, it'll stand as
phenomenal
little encyclopedia for anybody who gets into this. So it's an amazing thing. I'm glad to see he's going to be continuing to be public and do new shows. For without getting into any of the politics, because I don't know this stuff anyways. It'll be that many more new people out there on the shows and stuff, and it's all good. It's all for the cause, as he says. So
sure, yeah. I found that with all the COVID stuff going on, it was actually a lot easier to get people to come on because nobody was going anywhere. Right?
Aha, they were doing their live events.
Yeah,
that's right.
And then we came in with a net.
It was hard. I mean, I think one of the last 2 or 3, I was having more and more trouble getting theists to come on, because I had sort of a nemesis, if you will. Because we also used to do the
mustache twirler. Yeah,
he does. He actually does.
Evil
mustache.
Evil Phil.
But the group would do these Ask an Atheist booths, and out in Redlands, California, and it's one of these street craft fairs on a Friday or Saturday, whatever it was, and it was interesting. It was a really nice event. I like these types of events, but there were about 6 or 7, no exaggeration, Christian booths in this thing of like maybe 100 craft booths and food and stuff, and one Scientology table. So we thought, we gotta get out there and represent. So we had our Ask an Atheist booth, and we still do it to this day. But nice. There was this one guy there. He was a creationist, and he and I became sort of friends and nemesis at the same time.
Frenemies.
So we did the. He was very involved with my show for a while, and for quite a while, and it was he was often on the believer side, and then he was very helpful finding people to bring in, and it was a good mix for a while. But eventually that had to come to an end because it was taking all my time to book people, to find people to book, you know.
Oh, I know that. I've still got most of October available. It's not easy getting people.
And it gets harder and harder. I mean, and think, you know, it's harder to get the opposition also, right? It's easier to get your people that in your own group. And that's hard enough, like you just said, but to get an opposition person there, it gets tough. It really gets tough. And there's not that many shows that do it anymore. The call-in shows seem to be the only ones that really do it a lot consistently.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Christians finally figured out OBS. So now they have to come. So they stopped coming on our shows.
They're doing their own damn shows.
I'll have to go to one of their shows and ask
I've
them to
been
teach me OBS. I haven't gotten around to OBS yet. So.
I've only played very little with it, so I don't know a lot about it. But it looks like it's got a lot of really cool shit if you buy the full version or whatever.
It's the best worst thing ever.
Best worst thing ever.
Oh, I'll take a
Wes is laughing
back
at us
then.
now.
The best worst thing ever. So this is the mixed joy and hate of complex software. You know, it is fun to know a complex piece of software. It is a bitch to learn it, and it's you know, when you have a procrastinating tendency, you know, it's really hard.
Yes.
So back in when did we do this? 2004, 2003. 2003, I got together with a friend of mine who was a filmmaker professionally, and
Spielberg?
No.
Damn it.
He was actually an effects guy, reanimator.
Oh, cool.
So if you know that, you can go check that out. So, and he was
I know
in the Cub Scout
Reanimator
group. Yeah, a lot of people do. It's a fun film. And he was in my scout group, so we were local friends, and he found out of my interest, and we ended up deciding to make a film together. So we made this horror film, and as you do, he and I started to argue after a while, so I bought him out and finished the film myself. And I had to do this like 3D smoke effect kind of a thing, and use Blender software, which is just a horrible piece of software.
See,
Blender. Yeah.
It's great, but it's
a nightmare.
So complex to learn, and I couldn't I didn't have any money, so I couldn't for hundreds of dollars hire anybody to do it. So I had to make several of these effects myself, and my God, that was torturous. But you do what you got to do, and the film got made, and I got it out, and I got to hold the DVD for a while. 6 people bought it, so.
Well, can you still get it?
You can still get it. It's called Man Hater. It's on Amazon. So I put it on Amazon. Ultimately, I had a ton of copies. I literally threw them away eventually after many years. But so I put it on Amazon as a digital thing, so you can still buy it as a digital download.
Sweet, I'm all over it.
Yeah,
I like cheesy horror movies.
Yeah, we kind of forgot to make it scary, but it was just
it was an afterthought.
But it was fun. It was just like, oh, we're making a movie, and anyways.
I know Aaron actually recently got to be in a cheesy zombie movie or something.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, he got to play a zombie, which he thought was a hoot. So,
is he recognizable, or is he completely done over?
Aaron, of course, he's recognizable.
Yeah. It was fun. I mean, I knew I was into it at the time, and I learned a lot and got to know a lot of independent filmmakers. So that was my little side gig. Oh, and speaking of side gigs, throw another weird one into the pile. when we moved into Idlewild, I had just finished the film in 2009 and submitted it to their film festival up there. And the next year we moved up, and I bought the theater. My wife and I bought the theater, one independent theater, one screen theater, a little tiny thing, and
Nice.
ran the film festival for the director. I managed the film festival with the director Stephen Savage up there for the next 2 years. So that was kind of cool.
I know that name, Stephen Savage.
Do you really? Oh, we're gonna have to
Yeah,
have some
I've heard
side
that name before.
conversations. All right.
It definitely rings a bell.
There's some Scientology stuff going on there, but that came a little later.
Right. Is he a Scientologist now?
I don't know, but I know there was some co-beneficial activity going on. So, without getting into it, and because I don't know that much, so, but I would definitely like to have an off-camera conversation.
Yeah, that's a conversation for another time.
Yeah. So that's me. It's I am committed to putting my time into this at this stage. I do consider myself an enabler.
In a good way.
Yeah, I mean, I've several times been like the first Patreon supporter of a new content creator. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't.
Same.
I was actually the first supporter for Justin, the Apathetic Atheist. So,
Oh yeah, I was too.
yeah. So that didn't go too well, but then again, that's how I got to know Wes. So now we've got Skeptic Haven that's ultimately come out of that. So
That's cool.
It's a
Some
good
good
thing.
from the bad.
Yeah. So it's interesting now because for doing Skeptic Haven, I want to know everybody, So it's just like I follow everybody, and it's like, oh, there's a new person I didn't know about. I follow them and put them on my spreadsheet. It's just you get
Gotta catch them all. Gotta catch them
yeah.
all.
It is kind of a
Atheist.
thing. And again, you want to encourage the new people, especially the younger voices, right? I want to see multiple generations. So you get up there and you like their stuff and follow it and tell others of them, kind of a thing, and eventually, how it is. They get on Neil's show and then they take off and they get 10,000 users and then they retire and.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even have 10,000 fucking. What the hell?
That's the weirdest thing. It's like
Ain't that the way?
Universe.
Ain't that the way?
Some of these TikToks, I don't know how TikTok algorithm works, but some people have jumped from like 2,000 to like 200,000 in like a month. It's really a bizarre platform.
I should really probably use that a little more. I put like 5 or 6 videos up there, and they're all, "Hey, I'm interviewing so and so," and then that's it, right? So, I really should be better at that. Have I been on one of your Skeptic Haven shows yet?
I don't think so. Why don't you come on over?
We should remedy
Come
that.
on over.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Come on over, baby.
We should put you on Secular Soapbox. That would be a good one.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Put him on the soapbox for the seculars.
Are you sure?
Or we could roll dice. We could just roll dice and see what you want to do. And Mikey, you're going to be on as an astronomy expert. So,
I want to roll the dice though.
You want to roll the dice?
Mikey DeGrasse Tyson.
That's right.
I always claim him as my real dad. My God, my real dad's on TV. My wife's like, stop.
My real dad's name is Neil too.
Mm.
Wait a minute.
Oh, that's creepy now. Oh.
Neil the 604 Dice Man. Yeah.
Yeah.
My grandfather's name was Phil. My dad's name was Roy. And he wanted it was like each generation is supposed to name their kid
Phil,
their male son the same name. And when I didn't name my first son after my dad, he was pissed. He was so pissed.
You broke the whole thing.
Dude, how did
He
you not
was-
catch the pattern?
He was surprised. It's like I knew he was gonna like. So it was like his name is blah, 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 and it's like he just gave me this look. It's just so crap. Oh, well.
Only slightly related. My mom is very old school, and she refuses to want to know the sex of the baby. So we keep throwing around all these name discussions and stuff, but I have to like make up all the boy counterparts on the spot because if I don't have a counter, she's gonna know. So I've been making up boy names for the last like 3 months.
So when is this child coming?
March.
March. You're gonna have an elaborate reveal of some sort?
Absolutely not. It's none of your fucking business, internet.
Not internet. Well, not internet, but I mean, you know, like the gender
Suck it,
reveal or
nerds.
anything like that. Are you gonna do like the Lion King? It's my son. It's my
Yeah.
son.
You hold them up.
Yeah, let me just dangle him out of a window like Michael Jackson. Like, what? People are so happy to show their kids off. I ain't showing you nobody. Most of y'all don't
Yeah.
even know what my wife looks like. y'all are weird, scary, and dangerous on the internet, and I'm not telling any of you any extra information. Y'all are not trustworthy over there.
He
Internet
knows me
people.
well.
Practice
Hey, wait a
Joint
minute.
City.
I've been to your house for crying out loud.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I cast a summoning jutsu on Neil's back while he was asleep. And anytime it's a curse mark, anytime he starts revealing my secrets, just burns.
That's what that is.
So, but here's
It's so
the thing.
itchy.
Here's the thing, Mikey. It's not real.
Oh, it's
He's-
real.
He's
But he can
scratching
still-
pretty good.
He can still blackmail you. So. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, my roommate grabbed a couple. She goes, "There, I got you one of these," because we're always
Is that
like, "I
like-
need a back scratcher."
Is that like a tennis ball or mini tennis ball?
Oh, it's a little hand,
No, it's just a
That's a little hand thing.
little
like
thingy.
a little mini rake.
Yeah, you can get them on Amazon.
So that-
and they're like,
Okay, see,
Two
this
for like
takes us
14
right back
bucks
to
or something.
procrastination. I had been meaning to
Mhm.
get a back scratcher for about 40 years now. It's like,
they're
and
you
it's
can
always,
get like a bunch of them for like $20 on eBay or on Amazon.
you know, I should go out. It's the internet, right? So I can go out and look for back scratcher of the month club. And
You can
and,
do it.
You know,
You could, yeah.
You could even be doing
Do
it
you
right
need that?
now.
Do you need one every month?
I don't.
This
But-
one's from Zimbabwe. Oh,
I
yeah,
just
one
need.
over
I
here.
just need. I just need one, but I'll get to it someday. Someday. So
Procrastinators Anonymous.
yeah. What are you
Meet
gonna
my
do?
son Grog. We've
I
been
was-
keeping the name going for 90,000 generations. IQ 90,000 generations. I'm pretty sure there were no people of any kind 90,000 generations ago.
Oh, this is very good. Mike is like, or maybe son, if it's a boy. I'm over here dancing, man. I'm dancing, making up names. Ugh.
90,000 generations.
That's
Jeez, imagine that.
like you
Well,
only have
there's
to go
nobody-
somewhere between 25 and 30 generations to realize that every human being that's alive today is connected by relation of some kind.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The out of Africa first.
No, like even past that. Like you go back to what I was watching this. What do you call it? He's a specialist in this sort of thing. He's talking, you go back, something like that, but it's more like it's that plus
Crypto.
modern sort of stuff. Anyway,
Postmodern.
he said about 30 generations, and every single person that is alive today is related.
Oh, really?
One way or another. Yeah.
What about the Neanderthal blood? We got to factor that in.
Well,
That goes further back.
Yeah, are you talking about
Not-
Homo sapiens or Neanderthal?
Homo sapiens? But what I'm saying is, you go back 30 generations, and that's a long time.
It's a long time.
90,000 generations is a long
Long time.
before hominids, probably.
Yep.
Back when our eyes were on stalks like they should have been.
Back when we had half eyes, they only worked half as well.
We all had just a compound eye.
That's right.
No.
Or not the
Or no,
compound
or
eye.
a simple eye.
The simple eye.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Neanderthal DNA, by the way, isn't in every human being. It's only in select human beings.
You know which
I've got-
population don't have none that Neanderthal?
Yeah, I know,
Mhm.
Mikey.
Fucking 99.2% Homo sapien. Thank you very much.
Why aren't you special?
None of that. That cave
no.
person.
No sheep DNA. Nowhere in there.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
I've got a little bit of Neanderthal.
My
We
dad
did a
was in-
23andMe eventually.
Yeah.
My dad was in the Falkland Islands. 20 some odd years later, knock on the door. You my dad.
Oh God! Did you hear that someplace, or did you just make that up?
No, I
That's-
think the first place I heard that was
That's hilarious.
Robin Williams.
Oh, that's a good joke.
Oh, Robin.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, I can't claim it as my own, even though I'm sure I would have come up with something similar at some point because I love to do the voice of goat, sort of that kind of thing. So.
That's
I always
good.
fuck people up. Like I used to work in a mall at a record store, and people come in and look around. They'd be digging through the CDs and stuff, and then I'd be over in a corner pretending like I'm working on something. I go, and they go. The people look up like, fucking goat in here? Like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
And I'd just be grease penciling prices on CDs and shit like that. Anyway,
Poor
it was
lady.
fun.
Oh, these new hearing aids. I guess I'll go go to the record store and find something to listen to.
Yeah.
We got to take these things back. They're
Just-
malfunctioning.
Good luck finding a record store. So
They're coming
a lot out
back.
there.
They're coming
Are
back.
they?
Well, there's a few, but they're specialty shops, right? They get a lot of vinyl and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, Phil, we've gone the hour, my friend.
Just like
Is there
that.
anything else you? I know it just boom, done.
Flies.
Is there anything else you wanted to add on to that? And I do have a kind of a final question that I like to ask everybody.
The question. No, I think we pretty much covered it. If there's anything I missed, people can ask me in the end. So
Yeah, that's true too. So if you could go back in time to your younger self, what kind of advice would you give that guy while he was, still in the belief structure?
to
Invest in Microsoft.
to learn all through life, learn earlier. I knew nothing about philosophy until I was probably 50. I couldn't even define the word for you. And
thinking about stuff. That's how I do it.
traditionally in my generation, let me just put it that way, because I don't know how much of this is true anymore, but it was, go to high school, go to college, get your job, get married, have your kids, right?
Yeah.
And then eventually
This is
die.
one more thing I think. Yeah.
But after school, after college, there's so much in the world.
Mhm.
And we all know as skeptics now how much a lot of what we knew years ago is either untrue, or there's just been a lot of new information, like the advances
Right.
in physics and astronomy have been phenomenal
technology.
the last couple of generations. But
Oh, yeah.
learn all through life and start that much earlier. I've learned a lot. Like I mentioned those 250 books, and that was in over a 10-year period. But I feel like I've missed out on decades of learning that I could have, even at a slower pace, because life is
Right.
busy.
Yeah.
But to never stop learning, never stop wanting to learn. The more you learn, the more you realize there is more to learn, and it kind of keeps the drive going too. So
Indeed. I agree. I like to learn, so I'm always looking for new stuff to learn. That's why I have that Audible, because when I'm at work, I can listen to stuff at work, right?
all those great.
I mean, I'm
yeah.
currently I'm running through some some chemistry stuff that I'm like, oh shit, fuck, I forgot about that, or oh, I never learned that. So so I'm buffering up all the stuff there.
Yeah, and there's some
Jason,
there's some easier. I look at Professor Dave's stuff is terrific. Some of his instructional stuff. That guy amazes me.
And Valka,
it's
as well.
Yeah. So
Forrest Valka.
No,
yeah.
Not, yeah. Well, that's not Professor Dave, but yeah, Forrest.
And Forrest Valka.
Yeah.
He's really good.
And they have a talent. They have a talent for getting complex information to lay people.
Yes, science communicator.
So, yeah, that's real important.
One of my all-time biggest idols was Carl Sagan. Like, I would run to the TV if I heard his voice. Like my dad would say, "Neil, your buddy Neil or Carl's on TV," and I'd be like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, aren't we all?
Yeah, he was awesome.
I
want to talk to his daughter.
We've enjoyed having Sasha on Skeptic Haven, I think twice now.
See, I want to talk to her. I want to have her on here. I know she was never really a believer, so to speak, but just I'd love to talk to her about what it was like having, because I knew that a lot of her family was still somewhat religious, right? To some degree. More they, although I'm pretty sure most of the Sagan family was fairly secular for the most part, but still.
It seems
did she ever have to deal with that kind of stuff, right?
That'd be great. I hope she does that.
I think so. I have no idea how the fuck to get a hold of her. So.
Well, talk to Wes. That's a Wes thing.
Okay, all right, I'll do that. I have a feeling that I would just be like, I mean, she's the daughter of my all-time hero, so I'm a total moron when I talk to her. But anyway,
be good afternoon. I'm like, come on, Neil, pull it together, man.
She's a real person. Read her books. She's starting to write, so I think we're gonna see her a lot over the next decades. Because
I just finished A Creature Such as We or whatever.
And I know she's working on another one. I just don't think she's titled it yet, but yeah, I think she's going to stay in the public eye as an author, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing for society.
Yeah, I got it on Audible and I listened to it right away, and she tells it herself. She does her own work on that, and she's just phenomenal the way she does it. And I was very into it. Let's just put it that way. Got Sick Gibbon. Yeah, Got Sick Gibbon is Erica's awesome. We've had her on the show here as well, and she's so much fun. So much fun.
Another great one. Yeah. Another great one.
Yeah.
I may or may not have been fangirling that day.
She's just so awesome, right? How can you not? I mean, me and her and Jackson Wheat, we all chipped in and bought a bunch of pizzas, and we were sharing pizzas and stuff at the Faithless Farm. So there's so much fun. Just so much fun.
This is what we need. We need many, many voices, and it's nice to see a lot of these people interacting with the content makers these days. I mean, even 10, 15 years ago, you couldn't get Lawrence Krauss or somebody like on a show because they were asking $5,000 or something to come on, but things seem to be shifting. But but especially when people are publishing a new book, that's a good time to try to get in there at some point.
Yeah, it's like, fuck, Krauss, doesn't your college pay you enough? What do you need $5,000 to come on my show?
Yeah, that was.
Don't you drive a Ferrari, dude?
Well, I have a friend that was actually. You know what? I don't want to get into it.
Yeah,
but, he's got some issues he's got to deal with and pull through. So anyway, well, Phil, thank you, sir, for being a guest today. I've been looking forward to chatting with you because we only really briefly chatted at Better Conference, so I said I got to get to know this guy. So I'm glad you decided.
I know you came up to me and let's do this let's do a selfie, and it's just like, I didn't know you knew me, so
I knew who you were.
Thank you for that.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I still got it. Well,
I think I took selfies with everybody, but I didn't smile for any of them. And
None of them?
And then eventually people just started making the face with me. And it was
But
you
you're another one of those people, Mikey, that like everybody knows kind of things, which
Yes.
is interesting, which is a cool thing. So
but does anyone really know the man behind the bones?
There's me and Phil right there.
the man oh
Me
yeah.
with all 52 of my chins.
It's like a deck of cards.
Join the club.
Yeah. Just let me shuffle and
Oh, gross. All right, you know what? It's not gross. Deal me in. I'm in.
Yeah. Dragons and Genicus. Oh, can we talk about D&D now? Not too late.
We will in the after party.
show.
Are we running a
What we're gonna
campaign?
do now?
We're running a
I'll deal
module.
I'll deal out of 5 of beard hairs and
Oh, gross.
Got to get my pizza and Doritos for
Yeah.
a good game of
Hey,
Mountain
D&D.
Dew.
Yeah.
all right, everybody.
All right.
Thanks again, Phil. I will definitely looking forward to the after party. If you guys want to get into the after party, just let Mike and myself know, and we can get a link over to you. It is in the description box. If you just want to hang out and poke fun at us, that's fine too. Thank you to everyone over there on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter for checking out the show today. It's so much more fun when you guys are here to interact with us, and we appreciate it. And also, my patrons, thank you everyone for everything that you do. Got some more patrons actually. One of my guests, Jay, upped the amount I think that they were paying to $7,
Nice.
which is like, wow, that's pretty cool.
To the max.
And, I know, right? So, and
Make it rain on us.
chocolate rain. Oh wait,
Chocolate
It's
rain.
totally different.
Tazon
yeah,
follows
so-
me on Twitter. Just want to throw that out there real quick.
Jeez.
I don't know why,
Yeah.
but it's cool.
So thank you guys. We couldn't do this without you. And as I always say at the end of the interviews, like the late great Christopher Hitchens once said, it's called faith because it's not knowledge. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Thanks, Bill.